Charlton Heston stars in tomorrow night's late movie here on BBC One. A sniper terrifies the crowd at a big football game in 2-minute warning at 11:25.
Extreme Sunday on BBC One.
3, 2, 1.
Starts with Jeremy Clarkson.
I've been joined by my mother.
In a world where speed
Yes?
is king.
I'm fizzing. I feel alive.
But has he finally found his limits?
He's scared of this little bitty bobsled run.
Speed at 8 o'clock. Then hang on to your seats. Steve Leonard risks life and limb. In search of the ultimate killers at 8:30.
There's something very bad about all of this. We are all going to die.
Speed and Ultimate Killers, Extreme Sunday, coming in June to BBC One.
I can't remember the last time I had a break from this job. Sitting counting goldfish day in, day out. Everybody needs holidays sometime. A little trip. Who knows where? Touch of fresh air to clear the head, or just a lazy day sprawled in the garden soaking up the sun. Now that's what I call a break.
Be safe in your garden. Read this leaflet.
Okay, bye. Typical.
A night for true text maniacs, the Joy of Text Night, coming in June to BBC One.
Through the night now on BBC One with BBC News 24.
This is BBC News 24. I'm Heather McCarthy. The main news now at 2:30. Hundreds of riot police are out on the streets of Oldham trying to prevent a repetition of the racial violence seen this weekend. There have been some fighting between Asian and white youths, but not on the scale of the last two nights. Police have denied accusations from some community leaders that they've been heavy-handed, and they say they'll stick to their policy of zero tolerance. Our correspondent Asad Ahmed is in Oldham. He described what was happening in the town.
Well, Heather, at the moment the situation is calm, especially if you compare it over the last couple of days, but there have been the odd outbreaks of concern to the police, and that's been mainly concentrated in the Abbey Hill Road area of Oldham. What's happened there? About 40 white youths have taken to the streets, and they were walking up Abbey Hill Road towards a concentrated Asian area, chanting racist slogans, and they're also chanting some slogans aimed at the police, hoping to provoke them. The police very quickly turned up in their full riot gear and they blocked off the road. They tried to disperse the youths, but that didn't happen. The youths are still there at the moment, and what's happened is that chanting has continued. Now, Asian people on the Asian side of the road, which is further up the hill, they're concerned with what's been going on, and at least 3 houses there have had bricks thrown through their window. Now, the householders there say that was done by white youths. At the moment, that seems to be what is the case, and the police are there in heavy numbers, like I say, in full riot gear, but we haven't seen anything remotely on the scale of what's been going on here over the past couple of days.
Asad Ahmed there in Oldham. And some news just in. A court in Australia has ruled that an 87-year-old man, Conrad Kallis, can be extradited to Latvia, where he faces charges of war crimes and genocide. The charges refer back 60 years to when Kallis was a guard at a Nazi labour camp near the Latvian capital Riga, where thousands of Jews died. Divers in the Lake District have found what they believe to be the remains of Donald Campbell, who died 34 years ago while attempting to break his own world water speed record. They were found in Coniston Water, close to where Campbell's powerboat Bluebird was recovered earlier this year. To the election and after the bank holiday weekend, the three main political parties are returning to the economy and taxation as their campaign themes for today. Labour are promoting their business manifesto, highlighting their plans to strengthen competition and encourage investment. The Conservatives intend to highlight their claim that the tax bill on young families could be cut by hundreds of pounds a year through the introduction of a new married couples allowance. And the Liberal Democrats are promoting their manifesto for women, which has policies that could make 1 million women out of income tax. Head teachers are calling for a change in the law to deal with the growing problem of violence by parents against school staff. The National Association of Head Teachers, who begin their annual conference in Harrogate this morning, want clearer powers to expel the children of troublesome parents. The NAHT claims the number of its members assaulted or threatened by parents has doubled in the last year. A Basenji hound has been voted top dog at this year's Crufts Show in Birmingham. 2-year-old Sid, whose owner Paul Singleton comes from Colchester in Essex, beat 6 other competitors to be named Best in Show. He's the first ever Basenji to win the prestigious title. Those are the headlines. I'll be back with a full bulletin of world news at 3. Now on BBC News 24, it's time for World Business Report.
Dausenberg admits the US slowdown is going to lead to slower growth and lower inflation in Europe.
And the Silver Surfers, who are they and is there money in them? Hello, it's the BBC's World Business Report. If you've been observing a holiday, we hope you're well rested. If not, we're on your side. I'm Patch O'Connell in New York.
And I'm Jamie Robertson. I'm over in London. Now, let's move on to our first story. Everyone, of course, is entitled to change their mind, including European central bankers. And on Monday, the president of the ECB explained exactly why he had changed his. Wim Dausenberg has been explaining his apparent change of heart on Europe's economic outlook to members of the European Parliament. In a speech to MEPs on Monday, Mr. Dausenberg said that he thought the slowdown in the global economy was now hitting Europe hard enough so that in the medium term, at least, the risk of inflation had receded. Mr. Dausenberg gave this as one of the reasons for the bank's surprise cut in interest rates earlier on this month. That is its first in 2 years.
The global outlook for growth in 2001 has deteriorated over the last few months and has continued to be characterized by substantial uncertainty, especially with respect to the outlook for the United States and the Japanese economies. Owing to a less favorable external environment, a moderation in real GDP growth in the euro area from the high levels that we experienced in 2000 is expected in 2001, and this should dampen upward pressure on consumer prices.
ECB President Wim Dausenberg. Over here, it's the observance of Memorial Day. And I'll be updating you on where the markets were left on Friday and where they will open on Tuesday, just ahead. First, though, it being holiday, surveys are coming out thick and fast. This one now suggests that older users of the internet are the fastest growing group in the United States. This report says the number of users in this age bracket, 55 to 64, grew by 20% in the last 6 months. That means 43% of that group now surf the web on a regular basis. There has to be a marketing word for it. It's Silver Surfers. What will you make of it next? Michelle Hussain has more.
Well, Patrick, this group has been lagging behind younger people in terms of usage of the internet, but the gap is now closing, and it seems email has been the big driver.
They've discovered that communicating on the internet is worth their time, essentially. They're also just browsing, looking around, probably with something in mind to search for information, which is what most people on the internet are still doing, as well as tracking stocks. Interestingly enough, this group has had very high growth in terms of tracking stocks on the internet and looking at their portfolios.
And what kind of person within this group is the most web savvy? Is it those with the most time on their hands?
Well, this group is still working. So they are using the internet at work as well as at home. They tend to be a little more female than male, which is very interesting. I would have suspected that it would have been the other way around. They tend to be wealthier than those within this age group who are not using the internet. They tend to be better educated.
Now, the growth in the usage of the internet is striking in this group, but why is it taking them so long to catch up with younger people?
Well,